morning, boys and girls. This is Grandma Rose, and I'm making this little film for my grandchildren. But I would also like to share the Easter story with everyone else. So what we're going to do this morning is we are going to have an Easter egg hunt. So why is all this paper on here, you might be asking? Well, underneath there will be some Easter eggs. So the first egg that we're going to find this morning, boys and girls, is a blue egg. Well, what is inside this blue egg, you might be asking? A donkey, boys and girls. Look, a donkey. In Jesus' day, most people either rode horses or they rode on donkeys when they entered a city. The people would stop what they were doing and watch as the king rode by. On the day that Jesus rode into the city, the people were so thrilled to see him. They believed that he was their new king who had come to save them and to fill their lives with joy. In fact, they were so happy that they spread palm branches. So we'll pretend these are palm branches along the ground for the donkey with Jesus on their back to walk under. Well, the next egg we're going to find is a pink egg. Well, what is inside this pink egg? Here's the donkey, boys and girls. Let's see what's... Oh, it's money. What is this? Not everybody loved Jesus. There were some people that only pretended to be happy. And one of them, his name was Judas Iscariot, boys and girls, and he was a pretender. He pretended that he loved Jesus, but he didn't really. In fact, some of the men hated Jesus so much. But they needed someone to help them capture Jesus. And so Judas, who was a pretender, said that he would go and capture Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. So let's see, the next egg we're going to find is a light purple egg, boys and girls. What is inside the light purple egg? Let's go find out. Look, boys and girls, it's a cup. Do you see the cup? Well, Jesus sat down at the table and ate dinner with his friends. Well, one of the things he did is he took a cup and filled it with wine, and he said that the wine in the cup was his blood. Well, it didn't mean actually his blood. It was more of a symbol of his blood. He wanted them to remember the special night and the promise he was going to make to them and all the people. Do you know what that promise is? Well, you'll find out if you keep listening. So the next one egg we're gonna find is an orange egg. Well, let's find out what's in the orange egg, okay? Let's find out. We have a crazy mob here. Let's find out what's in the orange egg, boys and girls. Oh, look, it's praying hands. Do you see that? After dinner, Jesus and his disciples went into a garden. He asked them to pray while he went to another place in the garden to talk to God alone. Jesus was so sad. And actually, he was a little bit afraid because he knew what was going to happen. But Jesus was willing to die for us. He said, "No one takes my life from me, but I lay it down of my own accord." You see, the remarkable things about Jesus was that like no one before or since, he was both God and man. Kapula, you're not listening. Did you see this? But because the God part of him was willing to die, the human part was frightened. But he would still choose to suffer and die on the cross. When you are afraid or sad, you should do just as Jesus did, pray. So here is our next egg. It's a green egg. Let's find out what's in the green egg. Okay, hi Kapula. Kapula, go play with your friends. Here, Kapula. Look. Just a second, our eggs got mixed up, boys and girls. There it is. This is the egg we want. We're going to hide this one. This is the egg we want. This is so sad. When Jesus finished praying in the garden, the men who wanted to kill him came and took him as their prisoner. Then they brought Jesus to a man named Pilate, their ruler. He was kind of like the president, and he had Jesus whipped. Look, Kapula, isn't that sad? They had Jesus whipped, and he was whipped so hard that he bled. Jesus hadn't done anything wrong. The men who wanted to kill him were afraid of losing power, so they wanted Jesus out of their way. They knew that if people really believed that Jesus was the Son of God, which he was, they would follow him. Do you see this, boys and girls? Look at that whip. Oh, that's just such a scary thing, isn't it? Well, now here's a really interesting one, but we have to find it. There, over here is a yellow egg. What is that, boys and girls? That is a rooster. So what in the world does a rooster have to do with Jesus? Well, let's find out. Peter was one of Jesus's closest friends. Do you see the rooster? See the rooster? What is that? And he promised Jesus that no matter how dangerous things might become, he would always be loyal. Jesus could always depend on him. But that began to change when Peter realized that those who planned to kill Jesus might want to kill him too. Hey, I don't think you're listening. Come here and listen. That right there. Do you see the rooster? I'm telling you a story. And just the evening before, when Peter had promised to be loyal, Jesus told him that he would indeed deny knowing him, not just once or even twice, but 3 times. And in fact, it happened just as Jesus said it would. The next morning, right before the rooster crowed, and boys and girls, what does a rooster sound like? Even Stuart joined in. The rooster crowed 3 times, and when Peter heard that sound, he felt horrible and sad, and he began to cry because he knew then that what Jesus said was true. Well, here's another very sad one. Here, right here. This orange egg here is the crown of thorns, boys and girls. See the crown of thorns? Kapula. Kapula. Oh, are you listening over there? Do you see it? Well, what is that? Well, after Jesus had been whipped, the soldiers took branches from a thorn bush and they made it into kind of like a crown that a king would wear, and they shoved it down on top of Jesus's head. Just like that, they shoved it down hard. Of course, this is plastic and it's not prickly. But it was very prickly on Jesus because it was the real thing, and it made Jesus's head bleed. Now, Jesus could have stopped all this, but why do you think he did not, boys and girls? Because he loved us so much that he was willing to die, even though he knew that